For some sports gamblers, betting on the Super Bowl coin toss is about as good as the odds can get. But for Jim McIngvale, the Houston furniture mogul known as Mattress Mack, placing multi-million-dollar wagers on the big game and other marquee sporting events offers a different strategy. Heads, I win. Tails, I win. That is how he built his $240 million empire. Don't get it? Let me fill you in. So who is Mattress Mack anyway? This guy who lost $13 million in wagers in Las Vegas and elsewhere when the Houston Astros lost the World Series? And why does he do what he does? For the past 36 years, Mattress Mack has furnished the homes of 30 low-income families for Christmas, feeding thousands of people on Thanksgiving, and recently took nuns, Gold Star families, and kids with cancer to World Series games. In the early 1980s, his business was saved by wacky television commercials in which he wore mattresses. The man in question is known by the name Jim McIngvale. He works 7 days a week and yet manages to run 5 miles every day. At 68, he's a true force of nature. Initially, he had to face some hard decisions. From moving out of Houston to investing his last bits into marketing, he started with tents on the side of the highway and sold furniture there. From there, he formed a business empire in the form of gallery furniture of 3 stores in Houston and eventually made it one of the largest furniture shops in the United States. As a philanthropist and humanitarian, he has contributed millions of dollars to local causes, hired a full-time social worker to assist the needy, and, most famously, opened his shops as temporary shelters for victims of catastrophic disasters like Hurricanes Harvey and Katrina. But that's not what he's famous for, and nor he made his empire this way. He made promotional bets, that's right, bets, but marketed them in a unique way. McIngvale has made headline-grabbing bets for years, but he isn't doing it for the glory of gambling. All of Mack's customers who bet on a Texas team or one geographically near to his home state and win the Super Bowl, March Madness, or the World Series will get their money back. For example, during this year's NCAA men's basketball tournament, he placed a bet of $5.5 million on Kansas and launched a campaign in which he offered to reimburse any customers who had spent $3,000 or more on certain kinds of mattresses and furniture if Kansas emerged victorious. As soon as Kansas defeated the University of North Carolina, Mack and his 20-person sales team began receiving thousands of text messages from their clients informing them that they had won their wager and were now seeking payment for it. Because of his gamble, Mattress Mack lost $9 million. The promotions that McIngvale has run on the sports bets that he has placed have been beneficial to the expansion of the company that he and his wife, Linda, established in 1981. In the beginning, business was sluggish, so to boost sales, McIngvale invested his final $10,000 in television advertising. His quick, to-the-point delivery on TV and the slogan, "Gallery Furniture Saves You Money," were both major hits with viewers. This commercial campaign gave birth to the character of Mattress Mack, who would later help Jim in building a thriving company. Then came the riches. In 2019, Gallery had $164 million in sales, and by the end of last year, sales grew by about 40% to more than $230 million. The financial aspects of McIngvale's plan have, for the most part, been successful. During his March Madness campaign, he placed 4 separate wagers totaling $9.86 million and won $13.5 million. Whether or not the wager is successful, the exposure generated by the marketing sells a lot more couches. Due to the bet, around 30% of the store's stock was cleared out. What was expected to be a slow day on the sales floor was instead transformed into a frenzy thanks to the March Madness promotion. And in Super Bowl 56, McIngvale betted $9.5 million on the Cincinnati Bengals to win the game against the Los Angeles Rams. Any customer who purchased a $3,000 mattress or a chair before kickoff would have been reimbursed by McIngvale had the Bengals won. He had a meteoric rise in sales to the tune of $20 million. However, since he lost the bet, he did not have to reimburse any customers and instead found himself $10.5 million ahead. His promotions also attracted deep-pocketed customers. On average, shoppers dropped $5,800 during the Super Bowl. McIngvale made $7 million in sales over a 4-week time in June 2021, with a typical client paying roughly $4,000 during that time. The NCAA March Madness tournament brought in 842 new consumers and 1,234 returning customers to Gallery. The average amount spent by the new consumers was $6,764, while the amount spent by returning customers was $5,882. Approximately 10% more of his clients are also authorized for in-store financing as a result of his sports sales events, marking a significant increase. The promos put forward by this self-proclaimed huckster are brilliant because they combine the best of both marketing gimmicks and practical business strategy. It's not only him who's taking a chance. Even for consumers who wouldn't know a parlay from a prop, Mack has established regular sales events that seem like gambling. His clients literally put down $3,000 or more for the opportunity to win a free mattress. Mack has arranged these events so that they feel like they are taking place in a casino, and regardless of the outcome, they take something with them. But according to McIngvale, the attractiveness of gambling is not what pulls in consumers. He adds that customers are drawn in by other factors. Naturally, most gamblers lose, and Mattress Mack found this out the hard way. During the Governor's Cup game between the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys 20 years ago, McIngvale ran his first sports-related campaign by promising refunds to clients if the Texans won. He didn't hedge the promotion with a bet, but the Cowboys won anyway. In 2014, Mack suffered his biggest loss. He ran a campaign in which he promised to reimburse clients for the cost of their purchases in full if the Denver Broncos were victorious against the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 47. He didn't back down the second time, and he clearly remembers how much it hurt then as well. The 2-day sale that his business ran resulted in the sale of so much furniture that the showroom was empty by the next Saturday. In 2017, as McIngvale's local Houston Astros was going to the World Series, he finally made the decision to hedge a campaign with sports wagers. His bets were on the Houston Astros. He visited a couple of other bookmakers in an effort to get the best odds possible for betting on the Astros, but the best that he could find was a 120 spread. He was able to squeak by with a profit despite giving his clients a refund after the Astros' victory. Mack has a healthy hunger for taking chances, but he won't act independently, as he did during the Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the Broncos. Now that he understands better, he will bet more money if sales are outpacing his expected win rate in order to offset the loss. In 2014, when his promotion resulted in a loss of $9 million for the company, his wife shared with him some advice that he will never forget. McIngvale remarked, "She stated that he had a gambling issue. I answered, no, he has a promotion problem." One thing we can learn from him is that once you've made up your mind about something, never look back. Captain Hernan Cortes, a Spanish conquistador, landed in Veracruz in 1519. He promptly turned to his men and told them to burn the ships. With no option of retreat, they had to fight. By moving to Houston, Jim McIngvale burned his ships. He left the support of his parents and friends back in Dallas. He had to make this work. There was no way to go back, regardless of how challenging things were, late-night furniture runs or sleeping in the shop. Jim McIngvale had no other option except to use his dogged drive to see this project through to completion. Of course, not everyone can just go about setting fire to ships. You have the option of hedging your bets and playing it safe, and to tell you the truth, it may be the more sensible choice. However, if you decide to burn the ships, you will be surprised at how resourceful you become. And there you have it. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we thank you for staying with us till the end. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all new and upcoming videos. We have new ones coming every week. Until then, we'll see you on the next one.